Broadcasting live from the something ravaged bayous of Louisiana. It's me, Maximilian. Hello, everybody. I hope you all are having a great evening. I am doing okay. Health-wise, still got a few more weeks of fusion recovery. Been doing my exercises and things like that, working through a frozen shoulder. But other than that, I've been feeling good and actually getting up and being able to do stuff as long as it doesn't require me picking up anything heavier than 2 pounds, which makes going to the bathroom near impossible. Oh, I got jokes. So some of you will notice the change of format in tonight's episode. I had something different planned for this week, and I am putting that off for a while. It brought back a lot of shit that I just am not mentally or physically capable of dealing with at the moment. I'm sure some of you might know, that feeling lately. And so we're gonna put that off. Hey, Dens, I'm doing pretty good. So, and if y'all hear some putt-putt noises, some jackass's kids outside on his little 2-stroke motorcycle, pissing me off. So, but anyway, yeah, so we're changing up the format a little bit tonight. I'm not saying I'm not going to do that episode. Me discussing the trials of tribulation of growing up amidst the heat of the satanic panic is definitely something that I want to discuss, but it just, I just got a couple hours into researching and thinking about a script and things like that, and I just started thinking maybe just put that off for a little bit and think about how I want to address it, because it will start some shit. Oh, you want more nudity? What you want, Ken? What you want? My tag team partner, Ken's Toys, is in the house. You could check us both out as we pull infinite amount of chairs from under that ring. For those who don't know, and I will make sure to put a link in the description after the show is over, I spent most of the afternoon today getting all this designed on Legends_series here on YouTube. Find Mr. Tony doing me up a wrestler. Now, let me see if I can pull you up a little picture. I thought that I had. So that's me. And I am, let me get it in front of my face so somebody might actually be able to see it. Yeah. So Legend series here on YouTube. He is an outstanding individual with way too much personality for one person to hold within a small confined space. Scientists are currently studying it as a solution to fusion. We're going to get this worked through. Infinite energy out of that man. He is outstanding. So definitely check out Legend series. I actually think he might still be on the air as we speak. He is hardcore. So yeah, I guess I'm a wrestler now. And that's going to be hella fun. He's got a lot of really great stuff that he's going to be doing with that. And he is probably literally the only person on earth since the passing of Owen Hart to make me think even remotely about wrestling. So, and Mr. Ken is my now current tag team partner until I ultimately betray him to take that title for myself, because there can be only one. That's about all the catching up. We had a great Figure Fight Club Tuesday night, followed by an after party from the 3POA broadcast. And that was hella fun. And I got a box. What's in the box? What's in the box? Let's find out together, shall we? Yep. Put it away, Max. Put it away. Fine. All right. You know what's in the box? Another goddamn box. Thanks, Mark. Oh. That's okay. I need more boxes. Oh, what could this be? Action Force Series 1 prototypes? Oh. Available at all fine Targets and exclusively on Hasbro Pulse. Should we open this? Should I see what prototypes I got? It might be worth more if I just leave it in the box. If you haven't been to Valiverse.com, then I ain't doing my fucking job shilling. So y'all get there. Or I'll be pulling a chair out from under the ring. Remember, always cut away from yourself, not towards yourself. That oh my God. Man, y'all ain't ready for all this. All right. The first prototype we got. Prototype Bone Collector version 1. Dude. Yes. Yes, please. Also got the prototype Sergeant Slaughter. Prototype Condor. Oh. This. And I'm going to tell you, listen, the outstanding individual that is Bobby Valla, I have never gotten lucky one fucking time with his little exclusives and the bloody variants and the ones like that. I'm happy. That's fine. I'm okay with that. You know, I'm a little bit of a hater, you know, fuck all you lucky bastards. But I feel like I got lucky with this box because God, I'm gonna have a hard time not playing with some of these. And it gets better. A prototype swarm trooper? Oh. Listen, he had these they've been up for a while. This is it's not new. Prototype Steel Brigade at I was gonna get these when I first got on and into the Valiverse stuff, and I put it off because at the time it was out of my budget. Totally worth what he was asking, and I think I came real close to just missing the boat completely because here last week he put them up for $100 a box. And I was like, I cannot wait any longer, or I'm gonna be a sad Max. Yeah, it is toy history, and prototypes are important. It's good to see, where somebody was playing around, what the thinking is and stuff like that. Those aren't going to be something that I ever sell. Those I am beyond happy to have those in my collection. So and if there's any of them still up, Valiverse.com. Dens, man, I'm happy that we're getting that care package out to you. I've got some mail coming maybe before the end of the week, and I have an update. Creative said he was working on some 3D prints of some Red Hood heads for you. As soon as I get the mail in from everybody, I'm going to be getting that stuff down to Columbia for you, and we're going to get some Action Force properly represented in that fine country because it's time for action. Yes. I'm yeah. Oh. No. I want to. God, I want to open that Carrick so bad. I have been fiending over that character since I missed it. I don't have one. The main bad guy, I ain't got him. I got his new head right there in that box. But I don't have him. I just recently got the version 1 Bone Collector. Yeah, I'm your anxiety. Yeah, we share your anxiety. We're excited for you to get on there. And remember, you promised you're gonna open them up. You're gonna open that box up live on Figure Fight Club. So them's the ropes. But we're gonna get that to you. I'm just waiting on mail, and then and we're gonna get that done. So I super old and busted. I know, but it's something about that. Just you know what? It's not even his helmet. That everything's great on that character. It's that big old New Zealand sheep vest that he wears. That's what I was like. That's my boy right there. I would probably be New Colonia all day. And yeah, Bone Collector that's my major blood right there. It not that I try to go out of my way to compare the two, but yeah, Bone Collector is he needs some minions. I can't wait till Bobby comes out with some minions. I think the next wave is supposed to be all female villains. Yeah, I love Bone Collector. The new one is great too. So, well, that brings me as to what we are. Bone Collector is my top Valabatty. Yeah, you can't get a bad act. He doesn't make a bad one, so you're set. Um well, which brings me to tonight. That ought to make everybody happy because tonight we are going to do some custom painting on this little fun guy. I absolutely I love the winter figures. Um Snow Job and some of those other GI Joes and the Snow Cat was always, some of my favorite figures um, growing up. So when Bobby did these, it was really fun. But that being said, if you've ever played out in the snow, when it does snow in Louisiana, but when it did snow where I grew up in Oklahoma. What's up, Bobby? Figure Fight Club in the house. There is no way you played in the snow in Oklahoma and your clothes stayed this clean because underneath all that snow is a shit ton of muddy. So we are going to do a muddy snow trooper. And I've got all the paints and everything. Do that up tonight. And I'm going to do this in a way where everybody can do this. I want to keep it simple. I want to keep it in a way that you don't have to have a bunch of stuff. I'm going to show you a few little tricks where you can do this with, a couple pieces of toilet paper and a toothpick if you need to. But I want to keep it real simple so everybody can kind of do this. Uh, there are some great customizers out there. Everybody knows Mikey from JMK Customs. If you want to see some really in-depth dives on how to really get into painting your figures and dismantling every part of it and going into super detail, that's fine. I'm all there for you, and that is definitely something that you should play around with. But tonight we're going to just keep it nice and easy. Just show you a nice, easy way to play around and add a little depth to some of those figures. Probably popping his head off, but we'll just kind of see how that goes. I haven't gotten into playing with some of those red dies. They I've seen some people do some great stuff with them. And but that's out of my wheelhouse. Maybe one night if I can figure out how to take this whole setup and uh go mobile to my kitchen sink and my wife lets me play in her kitchen, as I was told yesterday when I woke up grumpy, that was her kitchen. So um I'm kind of grounded from there for it probably at least, I don't know. I made some pretty good bread pudding yesterday, so I might be forgiven. Sexy assistant, am I forgiven for being a crab ass yesterday? Yeah, see, bread bread pudding. That's how that's all you need. All right. J Mac likes them easy. All right, let's switch cameras here. See where we're at. So, anytime you oh, what are my thoughts on the command center that Duarte made? He's a fucking madman. Madness has overtaken him and he can't help himself. That I'm not a Power Rangers guy. Unless you're talking about the actual Japanese version, the Super Sensi whatever it's called in Japan. The American version was always just a little too for me. But that being said, if I had never heard of Power Rangers until I saw Duarte's video, I would be gangbustering buying those figures. That is an exceptional bit of modeling, and just the logistics. Um, the logistics alone make that an exceptional piece of kit. Uh, 500 feet of fiber. I've done modeling, and I've done some pretty high end modeling. Um, doing the level of fiber optics that you need to do and just the time involved, you almost completely have to just shut down everything going on in your head and just work on a almost just a mind numbing factory setting. I had one time I painted it was like a 5,000 point army for Warhammer 40K, and talking about 100 figures all painted fairly similar, all doing that micro level 25 millimeter. um you just get to where you do one thing, do another thing, you become a robot. And that oh, okay, thanks for the correction, chat. 100 foot of fiber optics, 500 LEDs, if not more. uh that is that is an exceptional undertaking, and he has my complete, and it's fucking beautiful. It's beautiful. It is. I Like I said, I wish that I wish that I could appreciate it more. I have to appreciate it from modelers and an artistic standpoint, because I can't appreciate it from a um I can't appreciate it enough as a Power Rangers fan, because I'm just not a Power Rangers fan. But as an artist and a craftsman, uh it is it's amazing. All right. Get this. This little hand just keeps wanting to give me trouble. It's always this hand. Now I actually broke this guy. Broke him right in half. Was trying to twist him around, and I love. Do you know the backpacks open up? Some people don't know that. I was one of those people for a long time. Did not know that those backpacks opened up. So yeah, I broke the ball joint on the upper torso on this guy because I was being silly, and I got what I deserved. And I just, yeah. Okay. So when I'm doing figures like this, I have what I call the St. Paul pose. And if you don't understand that reference, I'm not going to explain it to you. But this is it. All right. List of ingredients. Man, everybody is working with Duarte on something, and power to them. I can't wait to see what all of them come up with. It is him and Bobby are working on something. I am. That is going to be. I don't care what it is. I hope it's that mech. I really hope it's that mech because that's where Duarte got me. You want to talk? You can talk about his Power Rangers headquarters all you want, but that mech that's where my heart's at with Duarte and his stuff. So, okay, list of ingredients. Move this little guy over for a minute. I have a wet palette, and I already have it done. If you need to know more about what a wet palette is, you can see about 2 episodes back. This one's my daughter's. It's from Army Painter. It's got a little brush holder in the top. And it's got I've already pre-wet this one. It's got a little sponge underneath, and it's got a little bit of the stuff you bake your fucking cookies on, parchment paper. Real easy to make one. And I go over all that about 2 videos back. I'll try to link it in the description also. I've got a few little rando brushes. I've got this is an oil-based. I probably shouldn't have grabbed that one. We're not going to use that one. Gundam marker. If you don't know about these, real easy to use, and I'm going to show you a few tricks tonight with them. Of course, as always, brush cleaner. You can buy this from Hobby Lobby. Anywhere good art supplies are sold, always try to support your local mom and pop brick and mortar art store first and foremost. We also need some alcohol prep pads. You can also just use some rubbing alcohol out of a container with some Q-tips. I like these because they're just less waste. Yeah, if you don't hit that like button, your mama's a hoe. This is the extra head, and it's got a little bit of see-through here. And I definitely, before we get into this tonight, we are going to tape that off because I don't want this. I don't want to do anything. Let me get it here where you can see it. You can see through that. You see the face underneath it. That's just such a great, great piece. But we're going to be hitting this up tonight too, doing some work on it. So I will probably, let me go ahead and get just I had a couple other things that I needed for tonight, and they have disappeared. So we're going to. Now, I'll tell you a good way. Where is. If you've got to tape off, let me get this out of the way. If you've got to tape off something small like this, there we go. I'll show you a real easy way to do that. Cut off your excess first. And we're going to put that over the top and push it in to where you're kind of doing a little bit of an emboss. Kind of see how that raises up a little bit there. Get you a little zebra pin and just draw around that edge. Now, you don't want to do it where you're really trying to cut it with that pin. Just the first couple passes, just kind of go over it a couple times. If you're real handy with a knife, you can, use an X-Acto and do this. But even if you do it with an X-Acto, just try a couple times running that pin and just run it over that edge. Sometimes, if you're real lucky, all right, Ken, we'll see you in a bit. Can't go wrong with some banana pudding. Throw a little Nilla wafers in there. All right, looks like I'm going to need an... Oh, here we go. I guess I gotta... No, that's not going to do it. I'm going to need an X-Acto. Hey, sexy assistant. Will you hand me that X-Acto in that box right there? Yep, that box right there. Thank you. All right. There, if you have ever done leather working, there is a guy named Chuck Dorsey on Weaver Leather Supply. And he has a phrase that he uses quite often. New job, new blade. These things are cheap. You little cheap bastards. Put a new blade. You start a new project, put a new blade on your knife. One, if you actually cut yourself, then you might not need a tetanus shot. And two, new blades cut better and they cut easier. Dull blades make your job tougher. And we like doing shit the J-Mac way. Nice and easy. All right. So we've got that masked off. We don't have to worry about it anymore. Now let's make a fucking mess, shall we? All right. Now, because I broke this guy, I am not removing the armor for this one. So this is not going to be, depending on how detailed you want to get into it, you can pull this side off and, do whatever you want. I actually should probably just go ahead and glue that in place, keep the belt off and stuff like that. But it's not going to make too much of a difference in the long run. So we're just trying to get him. Remember, he's been trudging through the mud, so he's going to be cleaner up top. then he's going to be down at the bottom. So we're going to be kind of working from the bottom up, and then we're going to work on getting just some little details and shadows put up in there. Okay, now this is Nolan oil, and this, always buy it in the bigger container. These are the little small ones. Citadel makes this. Now you can make your own as a modeler. I have a shit ton of recipes for I hope you guys really can't hear that stupid motorcycle blasting out in front of my house. I feel like Laser Pants last night with his thunderstorm. So Nolan oil, you can get this at almost any hobby shop. You can get it on Amazon, Citadels. If you can actually find a Warhammer store that's open, you probably overpay for it there. But there's that. But anyway, we're going to start with some Nolan oil. And you watch and see what just a little bit of this stuff does. Now, one thing that I definitely need to do with it is I need to water it down just a little bit because I don't want to get crazy with this stuff. Now, I have little things like this. This is an old piece of chemistry piece of chemistry equipment that I have used for painting for years. I also have a few things like this, and this is probably more similar to what you're going to find readily available in art stores. It's just a little paint tray, and when you're not using it, it's got a little cover that goes over the top. They also make some of these in plastic, and you can find normally. I've got one laying around here, but I think we'll use this one tonight. I think that'll be really good. So we're going to take some of this, and I'm going to get a wash brush. Now, a wash brush is something you want to kind of, you want it to be kind of fat. You want it to hold. This one is actually a Citadel wash brush. It's really good. We'll go ahead and use that. That'll get a good coverage. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put a little bit in here. Now, again, I can absolutely, and just to give you an idea, because I can always tone this down later. There's his AR. So you just take and you push that. Get it in the rails there. And you just give it a good covering. Don't be now you're like, well, that made that really dark. Cool story, bro. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that little alcohol wipe. Just kind of give it just a, because I'll tell you, the tendency on this stuff is you just slather it and go fucking crazy. And when it dries, and you should always let your washes dry. I hit that probably a little too soon, but I wanted to kind of show you what it does. It just goes and it fills in all those little cracks and really just kind of brings out. And you're always going to have that, when you're trying to shoot for, realistic painting, modeling painting. It's fine to have a nice deco, but it's even better to highlight some of the shadows in there. Now, I'm no you can use water, just regular. Again, when I paint, all I use is distilled water. It's not that expensive. Again, you cheap shits. But if all you got's tap water and use what you got. It just make sure that you do a little extra cleaning when you're done with your stuff. Now, to water this down, I am actually going to use another Citadel, and it's called Lemaine Medium, and it just it's basically blank paint. And I'm going to put it over here on the side, and I'm going to keep my peas and carrots separate because I may want some dark, and then you don't want to go back and have to remix a whole bunch more damn pigment. So I've got that. Now I'm just going to kind of just let that mix a little bit. And I'm going to keep, my dark over here and my light over here on the side. And just kind of squish your brush out every now and then. Okay, now we're going to do that. Now let's just start with the boots. Now this stuff is real easy to push around. It's very nearly idiot proof. If you do nothing other than just oh shit, hold on, before I'm pinning that, come back to it. If you do nothing before you start, take your figure or whatever you're going to paint, as long as it's water safe, which it should be if you're painting on it, and wash it with some soap and water. It does kind of help things hold a little better. So you look at the difference. And you got too much, just move it around. Don't let it set. And even if you do get too much, when it's all said and done, you can go back with the alcohol wipe and it is a great figure, J Mac. And I've got 3 more that are going to remain pure. But I broke this one, so I'm going to have fun with it. And we're going to muddy it up. So just go around and give it any place where you see textures and things like that. Just give it a little pass. And of course, I didn't take my own damn advice and wash this figure before I started. So I'm going to have some spots that stick a little better than others. But again, coming back to that point I was making that we were putting a pin in, if you get too much in one area, don't worry about it, because we can always come back after it's dry. Notice I said after it's dry, and you hit it with that alcohol wipe, and that will take a lot out of it. And you can go back and do a little bit. But this is by far not everything. This wash, I want to keep it a little light because we're going to be doing some mud. Hell, I might even do some blood splatter. Because blood for the blood god. Yeah, or just, throw it right in the bowl of paint. That's also a thing you can do. There we go. And if it seems like it's just blobbing up everywhere, take a little bit. Don't be afraid to stop, wash your brush out, and start over um, with some fresh ink on it. It is a lot of fun. There's a lot of detail that doing this. I mean, he's got a flashlight. He's got a fucking Leatherman. I mean, seriously, what kind of madman models a Leatherman into his action figures? Ain't seen that in classified. Um, I'm not going to pick on classified tonight. I love my classified figures too. And again, you kind of see how we're getting some big, some mess right up in there. Once it starts drying a little bit, and the thinner a coat you get, the better it'll dry and the easier you can move it around. So don't and again, it's going to look like a fucking mess. This looks like a mess. You're like, what the fuck is Max done to this shit? Oh my god, that's fucking $27 he's just thrown down. Bobby's gonna ban him from the Valaverse website, and I probably should be for doing this. I shouldn't. I can't believe I broke this figure. I was so pissed off at myself. I was so mad. I almost broke the rest of it because I almost chunked this little shit halfway across the room. But it was a very, very cold day. And right out of the box, I was sitting there and was like, oh man, gotta twist this thing around. No, let your figures warm up for just a minute. I don't care who makes it, whether Valaverse or Hasbro or especially fucking McFarlane's or Neko, Neko, neat. Holy shit. It's not a seizure. It's just incompetence. NECA, let your figures warm up. Just let them get back to room temperature. They've been 30,000 feet on a FedEx flight. You can give them just a little bit of time to warm back up. Oh, see, I really like how those mollies are going to look really good. Now I'm really with a lot of the tack gear. I am really going to slather this stuff on. Really, I want it to you just want it to get dry enough that it fills in the cracks. The rest of it, we're probably gonna wash back off. That's the that's the really damning, effect you get with Nolan oil and, Citadel paints, especially for as pricey as that shit is. The way I use it, most of it you're gonna be taking right back off by the time it's dry. And the great thing about doing this, and I usually when I painted miniatures, um, I suppose I still technically do, although I've passed most of that on to my daughter. This is a great way to bring out all the details that you sometimes can't see. And when you bring out those details, it's a whole lot easier to paint them. I don't know how to explain it more than that, but it's if you've ever done miniature painting, and if you watch my video, Bring Me the Head of Laser Pants, uh, you kind of see when you do a wash and it brings out those details, then you know where the high points are. And in painting, especially with acrylic, it's all about painting those high points. There we go. And it's just want to get it dry enough to where you just give it a few minutes. Like I said, you're like, it's looking like shit. And you're right. That's kind of where you want it. You gotta smoke crack before you find Jesus. Um, that's gonna get me banned. Can I ban myself from my own channel? I bet I can try. See if it works. I don't have much in this world, J Mac, but I got quotes. All right. We got him thoroughly looking like crap. Of all the times that I wish Bobby'd stop on by and say hi, I genuinely hope this moment is not that time. There we go. All right. Now that we've started getting this a little where it's drying, you want to make sure that you go in and move around anything that's kind of, really globbing up. Okay. Don't want puddles. It's better to have it just kind of smoothed out all over the place than to have puddles. So if you see any puddles, just move them around a little bit. I'm mostly just wanting to go for kind of a light, complete coverage. Because again, all the high points that we're going to come across, we're going to be giving those wipe off and taking most of this stuff off. And if you see a few low points that look like they don't have anything in them, just go ahead and drop a little bit more down in there. I really wish I'd remembered to wash this thing. And that's the other thing too with this pigment, using the citadels and stuff like that. If you absolutely hate what you've done, you can throw it under some Dawn dishwashing soap with a toothbrush and take 99% of it right back off. Yeah, if you get into this and you start finding, man, this is not sticking at all. It's just turning into a mess. Stop what you're doing, go to the sink, Dawn dishwashing soap, just give it a good scrub off, and you will find that almost all of it comes right back off, even if you just kind of got to soak it overnight. It's plastic. You won't hurt its feelings none. He'll still like you and respect you in the morning. Oh yeah, camera's over here. All right. Made a thorough mess out of him. So let's hit that helmet. And I'm going to be adding some brown tones and stuff like that to this because, again, I'm shooting for muddy. But you don't necessarily have to do that. You can just leave it with the Nolan oil and call it good because maybe he's going through a fiery area and you've got ash intermixed with the snow, so he would have a lot of black and everything else. I've found that it's very easy to come up with a number of excuses for shitty paint jobs. So whichever one works for you. And the details that are all hiding. Now, something I was talking a minute ago about how I don't like puddles, but if you've got a really deep spot, like right in there around the uh, goggles and the gas mask on this, it's worth making a couple passes on. The deeper the cut, the more shadow you really want in there. Oh, that kid with that fucking motorcycle is just driving me up the wall. Yeah. We call that proper fucked. As I've said before, and I will say more than a few times before this is all over, let your washes dry. Take a minute, walk away, because if you try painting another color over a wash, you're going to create what they call a clusterfuck. And nobody wants that. Look at, I mean, see, you go from that to that. Just gets all nice in those grooves and just brings out all those details that you want. And when it comes to Valiverse figures, there are some great details. I wish sometimes that there was just a I don't how do I want to say this? An ultimate Valiverse figure that just Bobby just going crazy with every detail that they could possibly offer in every which way. I mean, it's that would be that would be something to see. Washes and decos and everything else that uh, I think on this one, I actually want to do a different color wash. So I'm actually going to create my own wash here. And this is, I think, called Night Haunt Gloom. It's a neat little. It's a neat color. Okay. Yeah, Dens. A maximum oh, there you go. Tempted me with those Mythic Legions. Hey, even Mythic Legions. I mean, all respect to them. The ones that I've never seen one. No, that's not true. I saw a bunch of them when I was down at Dallas Vintage Toys. They had quite a few. The details and the decos, like take that dragon. That is fantastic. But what I'm talking about is just like if you could do almost a 1/6 scale. There we go. See, we're doing kind of a blue wash on that neckerchief. Tweezers are a really good thing to have too when you're working with washes because putting your hands on shit just get your hands dirty. And okay, I'm gonna do that. I think I like that wash enough. I'm gonna do that on the knife too. Yeah, that's all drying nicely. Where'd my lid go? Oh, I got it all that over here. All right, we're gonna move that on top of there. All right, so it should be an absolute mess. And we've got to let this dry. So we're going to let that sit for just a little bit. And I am going to see what the chat's up to. Don't do Legion's backs. They don't articulate. You know, I heard that from somewhere. Some force of the night, say a ninja, was talking about things like that. Yeah, they do. I don't know anything. I've heard they've, I think the new stuff they've improved their articulation considerably, from my understanding. But I don't know anything because I refuse to let Abby and JMac talk me into going down the smoothly paved Devil's Road. In the next 1 to 2 years. I You said that this is my thoughts on that. You said last night that I asked you how near you were to a complete collection, J Mac, and you said that that was an impossibility because they've been out and producing for almost 10 years. If you don't have your articulation down after the first 10 years, um, that that's a little bit of a problem for me. The 2016s, ooh, shots fired. Yeah, but it's being able to get. I've got most of my Joes, like, I don't have them in any fancy pose. They're pretty much, sitting there, guns to their side or doing something like that. They pretty much, but I really want to be able to get them in some, when I've got more room, get them into some really good poses, laser pants level poses. Um, and if I had fantasy figures, dude, but listen, I mean, the articulation, like on that dragon, that it's all about the ambience. I don't know. I've got a shit ton of Anne McCaffrey books that suggest otherwise. Yeah, and that is true. It that's one reason why I kind of, the post-apocalyptic, there's only so much, there's only so far you can go with that, but there's and that's one thing that is really kind of neat with Action Force, um and not just Action Force as it is now, but Action Force as it was when it was kind of a GI Joe International and things like that. You had pretty much the way the world operates today. There's always a fucking conflict somewhere. Um, and but again, I it is limited. That's one reason why I've kind of really appreciated the Larry Hama version of things when it comes to GI Joe. You've got it spacing all the way from the Vietnam conflict to current day and so much in between. I mean, that's almost, whew, that's 50, 60 years now of that's a lot of story that you can offshoot and carry on for. There's a lot of Action Force story that you can really carry with that. Now, whether people get, sick of hearing that, that's another side of it. But uh, there's a lot of stories. I mean, I'm just glad it's a little bit of a fresh take. Um, that and destroying California out of sheer spite in his storyline is just no reason other than just fuck you, California. Yeah, but I do know something, especially with those mythic legions, when you've got that much non-soft goods armor and other things like that, even, with these, he's got great articulation underneath all that armor, but once you load up that armor, there's only a few places you can really move it. And with the mythic legion stuff like that, some of those figures don't need that articulation. It's absolutely wasted. Now, there's no excuse for not having double jointed knees and elbows. The other stuff, like, man, people can say all they want, like that Nemesis Enforcer or Nemesis Immortal or whatever the fuck they're calling it now, from the classified line. Uh, he's such a beefy fucking character. There's I'm not making excuses for their shitty figure because it wasn't great. But when you've got a figure that size, you almost don't need a super amount of articulation. Uh, J Mac was showing off that half giant size Mythic Legion figure last night. You don't need that much. You don't need double knees, and you definitely need pivots on the ankle. That is something that there is no excuse for any figure made after 2020 to not have ankle pivots. That right there. That's one thing that I'm not liking from what I'm seeing with that new mech that Classified's producing with the snake armor. I don't think there's any ankle pivots on it. And if there, I hope I'm wrong because I got 3 of them motherfuckers. But I don't think there's any ankle pivots on it. And if there's not, that is some bullshit. No reason not to have ankle pivots. That, number one, just do not make a figure that you cannot pivot those ankles. You can subtract a lot of other articulation, but that is one that you can't. Wrist movement, that is another one that you need to have, no matter the figure. A figure needs to be able, now I can't do it right now because of neck fusion surgery, but a figure needs to be able to look up. What if a fucking eagle is dropping a turtle on his bald head? How will he know to get the fuck out of the way? You need a ball joint at the waist. Those four things right there are must-haves for me. Must have an ankle pivot, must have a ball joint at the waist, needs to have good neck articulation, and it needs to have good wrist. Those what did I just call you, J Max? Did I Jarmax? I get it. Never mind. It I've got and no pins. There, I really think that if the Todd father could get just if he did nothing else to his fucking figures but remove those joint pins. Man, I think that he would yeah, try voice to text has gotten me in trouble so many damn times. Yeah, I'm with you, HGC. My little diglets. Um I'm a little on the fence with certain butterfly joints in the shoulders. Uh, I think they're great in some figures, in other figures, not so much. There's a couple figures that are coming out here pretty quick that are kind of taking a step back and going to some of those ball joints in the shoulders. And man, it's just not. All right. Now look at this. See that? Take that alcohol wipe. Just give it a good see how messy that is? Take that little alcohol pad, hit the high points. You're not pushing too hard. Yeah. So articulation is one of the I see more people bitching about articulations than I do about literally anything else in the figure world. Hey, everybody act normal. Oh hey, oh hey, oh hi, Mikey. How you doing, Mikey? You yeah. We're doing I don't know what we're doing, Mikey. I never know. But yeah, pins, they do. There was a place for them when it was necessary, and now they're not necessary. if you're making a figure that is over a $20 price point and you've got pins, fuck you. 100% fuck you. All right. So what we're doing is we've got our alcohol. Remember, you just get these little alcohol pads. If it's too wet, don't be afraid. Let it dry out just a little bit. We've got our absolute mess here. So now we're just going to go in and we're just going to wipe it off. And again, you don't want to hit it. Now, it's good to do this. You've got to find that sweet spot before that wash gets dry. Just not, it's, well, hold on. Let me. You want to find that sweet spot just right before that wash gets completely dry. Just not, you don't want it dripping, but you also don't want it just, you leave it overnight. It's probably it'll still come off, and then you get it all over your fucking hands. Don't forget, wash your hands off, or then you just leave a bunch of little fingerprints everywhere. If I was a smart man, I would have gotten my little head holder and be doing it on that. But I was raised some simple folk, and all right, yeah, little tweezers. And if you start noticing the pad just getting a little too dry, or it's just not doing it, these things are cheap. You know what? If I was working with like some of the oil paints and the oil washes, I would most definitely be wearing gloves. And those are something that um, if you get into, they look fantastic. They are a fucking mess. They take forever to dry, but when they are dry, they are incredible. I've never used them on a figure. I don't know. I'm fairly certain that some oil washes and stuff like that would really look great on them. But I don't know how well they would. I think it would just kind of depend on some of the plastics. Uh, some of them might not react well. I may do a few test runs to kind of see how they do. But again, if you want to get into that level of painting, then you're watching the wrong channel. You need to go over to JMK Customs and watch him. But that is what we're looking for right there. You want you want to get all the big spots. You want to just fill in the cracks. And then what we'll do is once that gets a good dry, and that alcohol will help dry things out really quick. We're making this, the idea is to make this look like you spent 20 hours on each figure without actually having to spend 20 hours on each figure. All right. Yeah. See? So that brings out a lot of that detail. And we'll remove the masking tape when it's all said and done. I've got a few highlights and stuff. So that's got that helmet. We're going to set it off over here. I forgot to paint that backpack and this big old rifle too. Now we can come over here to this guy. See the difference? You just want to, you almost just want to use this. In fact, if you can, fold it up into a little square. It slows down your work, but it doesn't dig down. You don't want to push it hard enough that it gets down into those crevices. Like that little arm pad, see how that line's all. See, I can tell. You can always tell when it's just the right time to start doing this, because this thing is as sticky as a teenager's hand on a lonely Friday night. There we go. And once you do this, once you go through and you leave your low points alone and you let it get a really good dry, then this stuff, you really ain't wearing it off too easy. It's going to stay on there. Now, I usually give everything kind of, yeah, J Mac. That's what I used to do with my Boba Fett's. Just throw it in the backyard for a week, and oh, you can also do this with Q-tips and cotton balls. Sometimes a little bit of water is all you need. Like, I've got a wet paper towel here, and I'm pretty sure I could. Nah, you ain't doing shit with that. Never mind. We're learning together. This stuff is pretty good about maintaining once you get it on. Let's get it on. And I'm going to do half of them. So then put it so you can kind of see. Remember, this guy, he's been out in the snow for weeks trying to hunt down Carrick and his boys. And if you take off too much, you can always do another pass with that wash and hit another spot or two. So that boot's coming out nice. Didn't I tell you? You're going to dump all this expensive ass Nolan oil on your figure. You're just going to have to wash it off. Now you see the difference between the sides. Now there's a technique in Gundam called paneling that some people are exceptionally good at. God damn it. Hand sanitizer. That stuff just cleans us hands off nice and easy. This is me kind of rushing it. All right. You can always tell when you're getting to a good place because it becomes less fucking sticky. And also, that alcohol definitely helps things dry out a lot better too. If you're impatient little bastard like me and just can't let that damn wash dry like a good person should. We're not good people. We're bad boys. We're doing bad boy shit. But once you get it wiped off to the point where you really like how it looks, you definitely have got to let it set and dry. Because the next step, when we start adding some muddy and things like that, or you can just leave it like that. You're like, hey, I like it. He looks dirty. That's looking good. We'll just leave it like that. Well, that's fine too. It's your figure. You play with it how you want. There's a YouTuber who says that all the damn time. And he is absolutely right. If anybody knows who I'm talking about, feel free to drop his name in the comments. He's probably a pud. I don't know. What's the philosophy? That if it's not my YouTube channel, it's crap. I think that's the isn't that how it works? Thank you, Abby. I take that as high praise from someone as traveled as yourself. This is the way you'll see a lot of I think some of the factories, the way they do it is they will dip a whole figure. Somebody probably knows better than me, but I seen this on video once. They take the entire figure and they dip it in that wash, and then they have a fan that blows over it. Yeah, all YouTubers love each other, and everybody gets along, and nobody talks shit. Love is the answer. Thank you, J Mac. I am going to let this dry just a little bit more. Oh, let's take a look at our. Let's see how our knife is doing. I don't think I'm going to do too much else to that guy, so I'm going to call him good. Neckerchief. I think I might do a little bit more wash on that. Just a. There we go. I'm just going to go ahead and change the color of that altogether. Once that dries, we'll give that a really good wipe off. Don't forget to use your brush cleaner, boys and girls. Just give it a little scrub. There it is. Yeah. Those pads are shot. Buy these by the dozens, or just buy yourself some. Now, listen, if normally I use a 91% alcohol, which is pretty heavy duty stuff. If I'm removing wash from a figure painting or something like that, I will drop that down to about 70%. Because this stuff can, especially if that figure has a pre-existing deco on it, it won't always do it, and every figure's different, but it will. It can pull that shit right off of there. So you want to kind of always test your stuff. You know, that's definitely something that you want to do. Just start with a little junk piece, see how it's going to hold up. You know what, J Mac? I witnessed Yoda's actions in Revenge of the Sith. I don't know if he's the guy to be giving advice to anybody. All right. Let me clean this off a little bit, only because I'm going to be painting them again in a minute. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that weathering. All right. Definitely got to let that dry now. Hell hath no fury like a Star Wars fan. Whoo, you ain't kidding, man. Gotta get this shit all over everything. Where'd my mouse go? There we go. I have witnessed one of the biggest nerd rage battles I've ever seen over fucking Star Wars. Just I am all for solid debate. I excelled at Lincoln Douglas as a kid. I I respect somebody who wants to stick to their point, and it's but there's some times when you can love something too much. And when it ceases to become a hobby and becomes your personality, which is a tough thing for somebody on YouTube doing what I'm doing at the moment to say and not sound like a hypocrite. And maybe I am a little, but there's a there's a small difference sometimes between hobby and obsession, and it can really, I think everybody everybody that we know, if you have been to a convention for toys, tattooing, art, uh, gun shows, uh, they're just, I understand loving something. I feel the same way. I get in these battles and I find myself getting in very stubborn debates and sometimes arguments over, Larry Hama, uh, GI Joe versus whatever that blasphemous shit is now. No, it's the Energon universe, and it's fine. People are enjoying it. I'm glad there's media out there, and I've enjoyed a couple of the comics myself. So it's that's it's a wonderful thing, uh, just to have something that you like, still being relevant. But obsessing over something is just, that's a point that just sometimes scares the shit out of me. And I've seen it in almost every uh every venture, not venture, what's the word I'm looking for? Every avenue, every uh uh everything that people enjoy, every fan hobby or things like that. And it's uh like some people who when you like, hell, even some of our friends, when somebody attacks Valverse, uh we get defensive immediately when somebody, the Hasbros, when somebody attacks classified, and they just, it comes out, and sometimes that's fun, and sometimes that's just oh, I'm mad at you, and you said a thing, and yeah, I do thumb my nose, sir, but I do not thumb my nose at thee, sir. Uh, or bite my thumb or whatever it was. It that there's a it's hard to tell sometimes whether somebody's just playing or whether somebody's going to show up at your door tomorrow and stab you in the gut because you said that Jinx's knees bent funny, or that mythic legion didn't have the right elbow, and it just it's hard to love something these days. Anything. It's hard to love something and share it with people. Uh, and I'm kind of glad to see that changing a lot with conventions and other things like that, and people really getting together and getting face to face, because you can talk about how much you like something, and nobody quite knows what level. Are you taking that Pandora figure home at night and gooning until your eyes pop, uh, 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 or do you just really admire the sculpt and the character study and the development and things like that? And you never really know until you're face to face with somebody. And YouTube doesn't make that easier. Sometimes it does, especially when you've got the after parties after three and the open mics. That's a um, it's I don't know. I don't know how to circle back around to my original point. It's just yeah, and that's fun. It's we've all got that little head cannon going on. Uh and world building is my wife has corrected me. It was, I do bite my thumb, sir, but I do not bite my thumb at thee, sir. So thank you, sexy assistant, Lady Shakespeare. It obsession is a strange thing, folk. Be careful with it. Question for the J Man. All right. How are we? Are we getting dry? Yeah, we're doing pretty good. All right. Let's move this over here. Gonna move my wash bucket out the way. And I think I have wiped off just, let me give one more good look. Let me do that on camera, Max. Why do you have a show if you can't? Why? I don't want to paint things online. I just want to sell propane and propane accessories. Mm. I've even got a little dot right here that says, "Hey Max, that's where you do shit at." But I'm over here, no, no, I can't let them see me. Watch around the joint areas when you're wiping. That's sometimes where things like to collect. Mhm. And don't forget to wipe his ass. Just get in there. We're all grown ups here. If you can't wipe a man's ass, you know, can you really call yourself friends? All right. Tain't nothing but a thing, folks. All right. I believe that we are thoroughly weathered. And you can stop here. That some people that's good enough, but I'm looking to just fuck some shit up tonight. So now again, I've never used these, but I do know that um these can come off with rubbing alcohol, just like the washes that we've used. So it can save you a little time and energy using this. And if you overshoot, then you can always just go back in and remove it. So let's see. What do we want to hit? I don't know if there's anything I really want other than the heels. I definitely want to hit those before we stop, but let's see. Let's see how this does. We're going to learn together. I don't know how fast these things dry. This is actually the first time I have ever used one of these, but I've seen a YouTube video. And if I don't have to break out the paint, then that is time saved. And these you can get all over the place. I know you can steal them. I mean, buy them from Hobby Lobby. So that almost everybody nowadays has a fucking Hobby Lobby in front of them, or somewhere within driving distance. And they seem to be sticking really good. So and the bottom of the shoe, I'm not too obsessively worried about. So I'm just going to kind of give it a little go over. But that seems to do really, really well. Mr. Microphone. Okay, I can definitely give a thumbs up approval uh, on these little Gundam markers. That is pretty damn exceptional. The one thing I do know about these is when it's good and dry, like if you leave it for more than 24 hours, I think I probably just shut up because I don't know this to be a fact. It's kind of, I don't know if this is true, but I believe it. Um, I think once you leave it for an extended amount of time, the more permanent it becomes. So keep that in mind. Whether it's true or not, that's probably a good little, approachment for doing this. And if in doubt, test it on something that doesn't matter, like your neighbor's action figures. Um, Man, I've had good and bad luck with Sharpies. Uh, some of it depends on the Sharpie. If you really, and let me show you this. So there's different types of Sharpies. All I got is a neon one. You've got these. These you can sometimes get off. These are not as permanent as some as hey, Robert's Infinite Realms. I am doing good. I'm glad you're staying busy, bud. Um some Sharpies are not as permanent as they would like you to believe until you get into some of these. And then when you get into some of these, now I use these for, some tag art and stuff like that. And I'm gonna leave that cap on. This is the sitting in the back of the classroom sniffing paint kind of Sharpie. This one is, if you get this shit on you, it's not coming off, and it is damn sure not coming off your action figure. Uh, Research which chrome pen you're talking about. The Sharpie chrome pens will look good for a little while, and eventually they will start to degrade. But again, going back to, if you're just looking for black, these will they'll stay on for quite a bit. Hey, and a little known fact, this Sharpie right here, if you ever do an or not an X-wing, a TIE fighter, or any of that Star Wars solar panel looking stuff, this right here is the best. It gives you that industrial light and magic kind of that black with the kind of glistening like a solar panel gets. This right here is your jam. I did a TIE fighter model, and I was just like, man, I do not want to put on these water transfers. That is just going to look stupid. And I wanted to be lazy. My simple, you would not believe how many little art tricks are just based off that fucking artist was wanting to be lazy as shit. But this Sharpie right here, you can get them at any Ace Hardware, Tractor Supply, any place that sells any kind of um, gear, Home Depot bullshit, contractor stuff. This is what you want right here. This makes the best Star Wars solar panel, better than any paint you will ever use. It just gives you that look. This will get you high while you tag the bathroom at Buc-ee's. So there you go. Sharpies, everybody. But don't use these. Even the black ones, for doing little small details, it's a temporary fix. Um, yes, gasoline will take it off. Um, the chrome pins, I wanted to come back to that Impossible Pie. I wanted to give you the time that you deserve on that question. I have seen there are a few of them out there that do like vac metal level chrome look, and those you have to be you most definitely want to do a test run on what you're going to work on, because if you don't, some of them will melt your plastic, and nobody wants that. Now, the ones that they make, like these Gundam markers, they make a few chrome ones that are really good. Again, test your plastic, because I've had some of them melt actual goddamn Gundams. So just there's a few out there, but the Sharpie chrome, I put together the flame model kit Snake Eyes, and it's not a difficult model. Well, it's a pain in the ass model to put together, but it's nothing but silver on black. So, I was like, oh, well, I got this Sharpie. I can just use it. And it looked good for about a year. And now all that silver, even though it's been in a case, haven't touched it, and it's just fading out. It's starting to disappear. So if you're looking for something that's going to stay, definitely look into a few of the chrome pins. Like I said, you're probably always going to have a safe bet with the Gundam markers, but anytime I've ever done any kind of metallic paint, I don't care what it is, you've got to take your time with it. It pays to do an undercoat. If you're working with gold, do a matte white or a matte yellow. If you're wanting to put a tint to it, you could do a red or something like that. But do some kind of undercoat, like the Citadel Gold. If you don't have some kind of flat undercoat on this, you're going to do 10 coats on that damn thing. I hope that helps, Impossible Pie. That was a really good question. Okay. What else on here needs to be black? Ow. His knuckle dusters. That needs to be black. I'm going to keep using this little Gundam pen. It seems to be working good. Let's see how it does on the Valahans. Yeah. I did good. Yeah. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? The other thing about these little Gundam pins, tread lightly, because if you catch it and it'll splatter on you. So you want to kind of watch out for that shit. Let's see. All right. Let's see if there's anything on the helmet we want to black out. I think I want to do a little bit of black on. Da-da-da. I gotta tell you, I am really, really digging this little gunpla marker. We're gonna see how the permanence of it goes, but oh, and his little dust cover's closed on the AR, so I don't have to get in there. I think we can just kind of black out that trigger just a little bit. And probably his magazine release. I'm going to try a little experiment. So I'm doing the end of the barrel in this gunpla black. Now I want to do a little bit of heat damage on it. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to try painting over this marker. I want to see how that paint looks, and I'd rather try it on this little AR than, try to do it on something else. So okay. Now, one thing, like I was talking about with these markers, see, you got the little, we got our paneling over here, but you can do that with this marker. You just go in and you just trace over that paneling, the little lines in there. And we've gone way overboard. It's like, it's too much, Max. You do too much. So we go back with our little alcohol wipe. And let's give that a test. And that smears a lot. I don't like that at all. Test your shit. Let's get that off. Come on. Oh, there we go. My alcohol pad was just too dry. That I can testify that I don't know if y'all can see that. If you can see, it does stain that a little bit. So you're definitely getting some penetration with those gunpla markers. So definitely keep that in mind. And be like, I fucked up $200 worth of Action Force Max all because of what you said. Max Tucker and Max Tucker Enterprises will not be held nor liable for any accidents or damages to stupid toys and things that you did. If you guys have any problems or you ruin any figures, Abby from Figure Fight Club is my producer. Yeah, I'm not hating it, Abby. I'm I definitely, see, that's something. Make sure you move your joints around too before everything gets good and dry. I would probably make sure that if you're using those little gunpla markers that you are putting it in a place that you want permanence, because I've got a feeling that when that stuff dries, that it is forever. And I don't fuck around. So yeah. Okay. I am calling that good on weathering. Oh, we got a little bit to do on the headband. I'm just gonna. I definitely like using paints over markers. That paints are always going to be more forgiving. If and going back to, kind of the chrome question, yeah, see, I like that. It's just the way I want it. If there are some chrome paints out there, and again, you're probably going, if you want the really good stuff, you're probably going to be dealing a lot more with oil paints than you are acrylics. Everything I'm working with here tonight, with the exception of shit, I don't know what the fuck it is, I'm dealing with acrylics. And if I decide tomorrow that I don't like this shit, I can probably soak it in some Dawn with a couple drops of 91% alcohol in it, and all this shit's coming off with a toothbrush, except for them boots. Them are probably forever now. All right. So, I got this damn uh wet palette all set up, and all I'm using is washes. Boy, if that kid did start learning how to close these damn, I hate these Citadel pots. They never close in the back, and it makes them dry out. And occasionally you get some unobtainium, like one of these colors that they produce like maybe every 15 years, and you can never get it closed. And it always just, because it gets back in the back there, and you've got to fish it out in order to you hope you can fish it out. Screw it. Okay. Should I give a layer wash to the backpack, or should I leave that alone? Backpacks are kind of hard to come by. Maybe I'll leave that one alone. This guy don't need no stinking backpack. But he does need some magazines. Oh, come on, back over here. Mom, why are my fingers all sticky? And again, I tell you, I can't say enough about these markers. If you're doing little details and want to write some things in and stuff like that, these Copic multiliners, they are fantastic and they are also forever. So make sure if you use them that you know what the fuck you're doing, because it is not coming off. What do I want to put on his patch? I kind of just want to accent a little bit and put that stitch in there. So I'm going to do some stippling just around the edge, just to all right. I do want to get a little bit of painted detail in there, and I don't want to do it all with markers. So we're going to take some black and put it on our wet palette. Again, I will never stop saying this. If you work with acrylic, work with a wet palette. Wet palettes, they're your friends. They're not like the others. It will make the worst pigment good. That's how good a wet palette is. And it keeps your pigment from, sometimes you really want a clumpy pigment, but sometimes you just want it to flow smooth and go exactly where you want it to go. And that's where a good brush and a good wet palette is your friend every time. And listen, I know I said that I was going to be doing some easy stuff that I wanted everybody to be able to do, but I'm not going to lie. The shit I'm doing right now is some nightmarish bullshit. So just I'm sorry. Okay. I had thought of doing what I'm doing right now in a gold, but I think the black is probably going to be a lot better for a winter setting. And listen, I'll tell you, starting to keep bragging again on the wet palettes, I found it a lot easier to do some of those minute details once I started using a wet palette. Some of it's also just years of experience, and I just make this shit look easy to piss you off. But okay. All right. Now we need some metal. Where is, you know what? This guy, he's a fancy lad. Now, something that I definitely, if you use metallic pigments, I probably would just use those straight out of the bottle. Um, they don't always do great on a wet palette. I've had luck with some, others not so much. But I just want a little bit right here because, of course, he has got a fancy Leatherman. Sorry. There we go. Yeah. Okay. No, that's not the one I want. There we go. Put a little, get the glass on those sights. Uh, yeah. Nice and easy. Let's do a little bit on the flashlight on that helmet. Remember, I'm going to kind of overdo it a little bit on that, but I'm going to come back and clean up around the edges a little bit. And he's got a little water line right here in the back going to a camel pack. So we're going to highlight that a little bit because that wouldn't be all nasty. Ta-da. All right. And now a little red. And this is some juicy red. This is that blood for the blood god. If you ever need way too realistic blood splatter, Citadel's blood for the blood god is insanely good. And I'm just using it for his little patch. So I've got about 3 colors here that I did not grab. All right. We're going to let that dry for just a second, and I'm going to be right back. Avi, you have a great night too, man. Okay. So this is a technical paint, and it's the Martian iron crust. So this is a great bit of dirt, and we are going to do some horrible, horrible things with it. And do not use this stuff. Oh yeah, did I spill it? Oh no. This is it's basically like sand and paint in the same. But before we do that, I need some metallic in a few spots. So I'm going to all right. Just want to hit a couple of these little rivets are in here. I just noticed on his belt, he's got another little belt knife right there. Let's bring that out. I'd never noticed that before. I bet I've got at least 10 figures with this exact same belt, and I've never noticed that there was a little belt knife on there. That's awesome. Okay. And I'm just giving everything a look over to see if I'm kind of happy where everything's at. Hit these little buckles down here. We do things not because they're easy, but because we thought they would be easy. All right. Let's get brushes cleaned up and put away so my daughter doesn't kick my tuchus, because we are getting pretty close to all I'm going to do on this. And got these two I'm going to still use. And, oh, yes. Q-tips. If you're going to use this stuff, use some Q-tips. And I am just going to, I just want to kind of, he's been out in the mud, so it's going to be, I like to get this stuff goopy, because when it, you're like, Max, why'd we go through all the trouble of doing all the stuff underneath that if you're just going to cover it in shit? Because we can. Undercoating is important. I've seen modelers spend weeks on cockpits inside model airplanes that you will never see the inside of. If you tear that shit down, you will not see the inside of that airplane. But every detail, every cigarette burn on the seat belt is there. his knees, a couple times. Got to get that perfect shot. Get that in there. And I got a smear to cover up, so. Now this is something, this stuff dries really fast. And once it dries with this real dirty texture on it. It literally looks like he's been in the mud. And it's got kind of a sandy grit. That mud splashes, so we're going to hit the bottom of things. And then you can kind of just dry brush it a little bit, especially, it's going to rub. He's marching through this shit. So it's going to rub the inside of his britches and the inside of his boots. And this stuff too is really good. I mean, it's kind of like that wash that we just put on. Some of this stuff we can hit with that alcohol pad and take it off. So it doesn't, you can put it on kind of thick in spots and we can get it right back off. Nothing's forever until you hit it with the matte finish. And then it's a done deal. All right, let's see how this guy come out. Let's take that. Yeah, I'm liking that. Something I typically do with this, especially this dirt stuff, is you get a dry brush after it's all said and done, and you go back and you can hit a few spots and just kind of knock off some of that thick, and then it becomes just kind of a, see how it gets real dusty. Now there's a couple other things. I don't know what I did with them. The Tommy makes a few little powders that really get the job done nice. They But if nothing else, go and hey kitty kitty. Meow. Meow. Okay. See how dusty that is? That stuff just, This stuff is like almost when it dries, it becomes like a blush makeup or something like that. Uh, and just let it dry and then dust off, and it gets fucking everywhere. So keep that in mind. Now, when it gets, you don't want to, again, kind of like the wash, you want to get just right to the point where it's just almost dry. But if you let it sit overnight, it's just gonna turn into a mess. So it's definitely something that meow, what? Meow. What? Either come up here and say hi or fuck off. But a little dab can do, you see? So we're taking this, moving it up here. Now he's been handling his rifle, so we're gonna work a little bit of that into there, especially around the handguard. Again, this stuff is great because it's just almost like a dry brush. Jesus Christ, 3 hours of this kid and his fucking motorcycle out in my front yard. I'm literally just about to the point where I'm gonna bitch about it some more on YouTube. So now when you hit this dry brush stuff with rubbing alcohol, it is gonna do something really funny. It is going to turn into an absolute mess. So just kind of take your time a little bit with it. All right. Because he's a good boy. He wipes his feet before he well, it looks like rubbing alcohol kind of will take a little bit of that gunpla marker off, but it is definitely absorbing into the plastic. So keep that in mind. Hey, it's good to see you, David. Mm, yeah, that's getting there. The kids on the motorcycle are definitely pissing me off because they've been running right in front of my house for the last 3 hours. But I live out in the fucking country for a reason, and the same rights that I enjoy um, being out of city limits is definitely the same, you know, shit that I'm glad they can enjoy too. So, but I'm still gonna bitch about it. Liking that, but I want to add just a little bit of a different color. Now, this is another texture Use Q-tips, not your good brushes, and it is hard as a fucking rock. Okay, not using that one. Okay. Huzzah. Yeah, right. But we were always 8 miles out of town when we did it. The nearest person to get pissed about it was your dad sitting inside. All right, we're gonna drop those little bitty magazines on the floor. Mm. Well, shit, I really wanted some different color mud, but I guess if we're doing Oklahoma winter, then red dirt all over the fucking place is um where we're at. How you doing, David? You doing all right? He's been on his elbows, so we gotta get a little bit of that back of there. Oh, we only did one side of that magazine. We need to hit that again real quick. And I wiped off a little bit more of that finish than I wanted that. Every Thursday at 5, sir. This has been really, really good for my recovery. It keeps me out of my easy chair and mentally I'm just it's doing good for me. I'm really I've been thinking about, and you can everybody can kind of leave some comments below, but I've been considering simulcasting onto Facebook at the same time that I do the YouTube. I know I have a lot more people on Facebook who are not on YouTube who have been missing me doing the lives. So I'm definitely not leaving the YouTube. I like it here. I've got some good people to kick it with. So that is but I do kind of miss some of my Facebook peeps. Hey, and if one fire, you know what? Sometimes one fire is all it takes. I'm kind of worried about y'all. I'm glad you got through that win the other day with there we go. Yeah, it's coming together, people. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna be cleaning that shit off my desk for a week. Dens, I am the same name across every platform. I don't go by a handle. This is who I am, and it's all just me. So if you type my name into a Google search, I ain't hard to find. It, there's pretty much, I think, a link on uh, my Instagram or on YouTube. I think I link everything. 81 miles an hour. Jiminy Christmas. That is mucho no bueno. That's geez, that's scary as shit. There ain't, we think we learned our lessons back in the 30s. I think we just cut up too much of that old prairie grass, that old deep prairie grass. Now we get that. That's one reason why, everybody talking about like with California and the wildfires out there and why it was such a nightmare. It's the same way in Oklahoma, especially with some of those fires they've had. Um, you get that we everybody's had that rain and it gets everything growing, and then all of a sudden it gets hot. Everything fucking just turns to turns to fuel just instantly. That's one of the nightmares I have. I mean, I am surrounded by forest, and I know one day it's going to end badly. Yeah, exactly. Now, let's get his sidearm in place. All right, everybody. Now I'm definitely going to let this dry. This is going to be something off camera. I'll try to get uh, a final shot posted in the community post. But tomorrow, after I've let this kind of dry, get a really good dry on it, then I will get some pictures. I'll also probably run one of those alcohol pads over it just one more time. When you get to the point where you're like, I like everything, I'm probably about to fuck this up. Just stop. Just stop. Remember, this is television. You don't have to do it this fast. Take your time. Do a little bit. I rushed a lot of things tonight. Um, I've also, as Mr. Haystack can tell you, have years of ignorant experience in doing this shit. So I kind of know a little bit of what I can get away with and what I can't. So do what I say, not what I do. Um, and just take your time. And if you do that, it will pay for itself. Now, like I said, what I'm probably going to do tomorrow sometime is give it just one more pass in a few spots with those alcohol wipes just to get anything that's kind of loose or that I don't like. And then I'm going to hit it with anti shine. And then it's forever. Or I may just set it on the shelf and not even seal it. I don't really know what I'm going to do on that. But I'm definitely going to stop where I'm at because I like the way this looks. I'm definitely going to be hitting that rifle again with some alcohol wipe just to kind of clean it up. He is a snow trooper, so you don't want to just have him completely exposed, no matter how dirty he is. Yeah, that is literally what we look like every winter for most of my life. Didn't matter, man, if you had those white tube socks, shit. They weren't going to be white for long. Them things were going to be as red as the bride. Never mind. They were going to be that red dirt. That stuff paints everything. everything. So I was kind of wanting to get this guy painted tonight. How about that, Haystack? Need one to bring back some memories? Maybe I'll paint this up another night. I'm just screwing around, paint a few weapons. I've got more than a few of these Arctic weather weapons packs, so I've got plenty of those to spare. Backpacks are, ooh, those are those can get hard. Those can be hard to get sometimes. So I'm probably gonna hold off on painting that one. I may do the backpack too. We'll see. He saw it all. That oh, I really am trying to debate what to do with this guy. I really want to paint that Bobby Vala head, but I know if I do, I'm going to have to sculpt a beard on him with green stuff. I'm going to have to put hair on his head because just painting it on there just isn't going to be enough for me. Um, but the more I look at it and the plastic they used and the design of it, I'm really starting to like it. And I may just keep it and leave it the hell alone. it it's a weird but good figure. Put a Marvin the Martian tattoo on his shoulder. Yeah, right. That need to. I speaking of you, I don't get mad at me because you know I'm broke. What do you call your truck? Um, Ella? No. Uh, what's gonna come to me? Just tell me real quick. Anyway, yeah, Amy. Thank you. The AMI, American Motors. Yeah. Um, I saw a model kit for one of those the other day, and I thought about you. If I could just find one in 1/12 scale that I could fit these guys in, that would take up literally my entire desk. All right. Well, you guys have seen it. There's the front, there's the back, the side. And you can and then from the top down. Oh, still hadn't done that howitzer? Holy crap, man. That's been like at least 20 years. Has it been that long? Can't remember. Where did I get you that howitzer? Yep, it's been 20 years. Yeah. Well, eventually, as what happens to all YouTubers, I'm going to run out of content and shit to do. So you probably just send it back to me and I end up doing it one night. I haven't done, with the exception of a Gundam, I haven't done a good model kit in a while, and I need to remedy that. So I will, and I really need to, um, I got to figure out something so I quit stealing my kids' paints that I gave her. So she's getting tired of me touching her shit. So sorry. We'll talk about it, Dave. See, I doing a howitzer model would be pretty badass. I got a good base that what scale was that? Do you remember? Hell, you don't even know. You send it back. You don't even know where that thing is. You probably hadn't seen it in 18 years. It's probably holding up an alternator in the shed somewhere. Oh, nice. We'll talk about it. And that sounds like something fun to do. And probably more than a one night show putting together a model kit. But I've got to get a little more flexible before I go trying to attempt uh, some modeling. I need to get I'll need to get the model number and probably get some reference pictures from you if it was the same model howitzer that you used to work on, then I'm sure you've got photos that I can use as reference. I've got 5 more weeks. And believe me, we are on hour 3 of this broadcast. And right in the middle of my shoulders feels like somebody is sticking this thing in it. So I got another 5 more weeks running bone growth stimulator on my back for 4 hours every day, which gives me excuse to sit in my chair and watch my morning stories. And YouTube has all the GI Joe cartoons on there, every single one of them. So I am a happy pappy first thing in the morning. Let's get a. I think we need a little flash on the end of that. I'm fairly happy with that little guy. That mud gets, like I said, the more it dries, the better it gets. I would have very much. I do wish this other one wasn't dry. Um, I would have liked to had more than one tone on that dirt, but yeah, you take what you get, and I can always go and get some um, another tone and dab on there, and I may do that before I seal it up. Again, I'm getting Dens. Be well, and we'll be talking at you soon. I'm going to take another look at it first thing in the morning, or tomorrow, maybe not first thing in the morning. At least 3 cups of coffee in, and see what I like and don't like, and what I want to smooth out a little bit. Once I get everything all done, again, I will get some photos taken and get them posted up in the community, maybe even a couple Facebook shots. Legend Series here on YouTube has got a little thing going where we go outside, touch some grass, and do some outside photography. I don't know if Arctic Guy is going to come in well for Louisiana conditions right now, but maybe we get something to work. If not, I got lots of Army men to play with. You can also, I'm going to link sometime tonight. If not tonight, I don't know if I can bend over on a fucking keyboard at this point. It feels like my neck's going to pop one way or the other. So I'm not ready for my chair. But I'm definitely going to post in the description a link to Legend Series and his video this morning, turning me into a WWE wrestler, Terry Funk style. And I am going to be participating in a couple tag team matches that he's putting on. And it's an amazing thing to see. And only Legend Series can do it the way it needs to be done. It is better than watching the real thing, because yeah. So check out Legend Series. Also check out in the show tonight, Figure Fight Club, where you can find me every Tuesday night that Abby lets me on open mic night. You can also find me after, if you put on a good show and you don't do an after show, I'm probably going to do an after show with all your friends and not tell you about it. Won't you be sad? We're going to have cookies and pie and everything else that you want. Check out Figure Fight Club. You can find me there most nights, hanging with Abby and the boys. And yeah, that's about it. Good night, everybody. Ha ha.